I'm Liam.
I'm Wayne.
You're listening to In Film We Trust YouTube,
A place where we post clips from our recent episode.
all links down below in the description.
And now, on with the show.
So we're introduced to these characters. Angela doesn't talk. She also doesn't eat.
Yeah, there's a bit where it says she hasn't eaten in 3 days, which she should not be hospitalised at this point.
Yeah, she should be borderline, on the floor rolling about in agony.
Because most of her thing is just kind of sitting there just looking at people. This is kind of her thing for, especially like the first act of the film. She just kind of looks at people.
Yeah, she's very starey girl.
Yeah, and she has some pretty mad stares. Actually, this is how Felissa Rose was auditioned. She was to do these creepy stares while imagining eating a candy bar.
So why the candy bar, Wayne?
I don't know, that seems weird. Like, why not just do that angry face? I'd be kind of happier if I was imagining myself eating a candy bar. Don't know about you.
It's a peculiar direction.
It is a very peculiar direction. They're talking about how quiet she is, Angela, and Meg says, if she were any quieter, she'd be dead. And I was sitting here thinking, is that funny? I can't really tell.
So it is, Wayne. Foreshadowing.
There we go, foreshadowing.
You're setting up now. It's like, is Meg going to offer? Is Meg... this is a very rudimentary way of setting up suspects.
Yes.
But in a very unskilled way.
Unskilled way, like, oh, well, she's going to cop it later.
Yeah.
She gets taken, Ronnie takes her to Artie the chef.
Oh,
a man who should not be within 300 yards of children.
Or food.
Or food, to be for that
I wouldn't
matter.
trust him with my food.
That food looks awful, but because he takes her into the pantry, and again, this film, it's so unsubtle, takes her to the pantry, and he starts unzipping his trousers.
Yeah.
At which point Ricky catches them.
And he punches a box.
He does punch a box. He kind of takes his frustration out on the box, but Ricky and Angela get away. There's this pattern where somebody will invite Angela to something, she'll not say anything, she'll stare at them, and they'll just get angry, insult her, and then just leave. And Ricky often is the one who intervenes, because Ricky is...
her cousin.
Angela's cousin,
Yes.
yeah. So Ricky is kind of the good guy here, where he
Because
keeps
he's always
in.
getting into scuffles when people are mocking her, like Kenny and Mike mock her. And Ricky will kind of... Because Ricky's a little small guy himself.
He is, yeah. I mean, but he has kind of obviously a decent moral centre.
Well, he's looking out for his cousin,
Because he's looking out for his cousin. And Paul talks to Angela a lot. Did you feel like Paul was trying to be a kind of forced, oh, I'm a nice guy kind of character?
Yeah, Paul's a weird guy.
Kind of trying to
We'll get into that
himself.
later, because there's a scene later and somebody else gets the blame, and Paul's really in the blame in that situation.
There is a lot of that in this film, people getting blamed for something they didn't do.
But we do get our first line here from Angela when Paul sits with her, and they're in like a social area, aren't they?
Yeah, because they have a lot of these socialising events. Again, older and younger kids, doesn't seem to work out very well.
And Paul, when he leaves, Angela says good night, and that's our first line in the film. And we're probably, what would you say, 20-ish minutes into the film
Something
then?
like that, yeah.
At that point.
Very appropriate that her first words are actually some kind of goodbye.
Well, she clearly has social skills to some point.
Because Angela she does seem like a very sweet character. Like the way Felissa Rose portrays her, she's very sweet, very sincere. She's got
She's like an innocent.
Basically, she's got like a very bashful smile, a very kind of bashful laugh. But yeah, this is the first thing she's ever said, and Paul takes it as, well, a very good sign. But the next day...
he walks her to the bunk after the film.
The bunkhouse,
and that's where they kiss, don't they?
The awkward kiss. And then she kind of runs off.
Yeah.
And it's at that point you realise Paul isn't kind of as decent a guy as he was kind of making himself out to be.
Yeah, about this time in the film, especially... the tension, isn't it, between... Because Meg and Judy have pretty much teamed up as, like, team bitch, haven't they?
Again, they're the kind of... like Jack from Lord of the Flies. They're the people who are kind of lording over this.
And they've got it into their heads, for whatever reason, that Angela is easy pickings. And they just essentially berate her. There's nothing Angela can do right. The girls are playing volleyball, but she's sitting on the side, and I think she speaks to Paul, is it?
Yeah, Paul comes
And
over.
they chastise her. It's like... For talking to boys. Oh, does she not have to? Yeah. What's the difference of the rules? Or she won't go swimming when they're going swimming.
Judy's like, how come Angela gets to talk to the boys all day? Delivered like that.
Yes. I mean, that's probably a better performance, Wayne. Yeah, he's probably more... You were more convincingly playing a Judy.
I've been
Judy.
I'm practicing my Judy over here.
Of course, we lovingly say this. So nobody, give us shit. We like these films. We're just having fun with them.
They're good fun to talk about.
For what they are.
But but this is where Meg goes crazy at Angela, because anytime these counsellors try to scold Angela, she just looks at them again, this kind of death stare, and she just goes back and she starts shaking like that's like actual assault. Well, she really should be relieved of her duties at this point, but it was an accident.
It was an accident.
It was an accident.
You can't shake somebody on purpose, Wayne. Have you never known this?
Angela was a good shaker. Meg around this time, she goes mad at Angela again, throws Angela into the water, and Ricky says, "We won't let them get away with this, that's for sure." Again, it's like trying to plant these seeds for the audience of, who the killer could be. I just didn't find any of it very convincing.
Was there any kind of suspect you had in mind at this time? Because we're getting on in the film now.
Yeah, we're getting fairly on. Well, with this film, it was very much like when I watched The Sixth Sense for the first time.
I know you knew the...
I knew the twist and I knew what it was going to be, but trying to like clear my mind and watching it, I had a very good idea who it was, and I didn't feel any of the people that were being kind of pushed as
the red herrings.
The red herrings. I didn't feel like any of them were. There's just not enough reason for them to be the killer. I felt. So
yeah, Meg throws Angela in the water.
Mm-hmm. And then does Mel not confront the thing again? Because Ricky tries to save her, and then Mel's almost angry at him for doing that. He's like, "Oh, every time she gets in trouble, you try to save her." Yeah, that's the
scene where Mel.
Yeah, it's like, well, he's his cousin. Of course, he tried to help her. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.